Lady, the problem isn't in my pants. Mex-Men.
So what about that lube and the oven mitt?
What? What?
You said the whole hand, right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, now he doesn't know.
I really don't.
He wouldn't shut up about it a minute ago.
Who puts lube in an oven mitt?
No, you use the oven mitt to keep the lube off your hand.
That's how you described it to us in detail.
I really didn't.
So welcome to this issue of Mex-Men. I'm Tony.
I'm Justin.
I am Devin, and I specifically said butcher's gloves.
He messed up on that a little. But today on this issue of Mex-Men, we're going to be going through all new X-Men issues 6 through 11.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah. Normally, I'd say what episodes we're doing, and then, like, when you guys come in and you say something, and
I did. We
Is
said
that-
yeah.
Yeah, I thought we normally say yes.
you guys have gotten really good at this.
I think
And-
so.
We're not getting worse at all.
See?
Yeah. Were you Spanish? Speaking Spanish over there?
No, I've yesed and ended him.
Oh, okay.
Is that an SI or an SEE?
Or just a letter C.
So the SCC won't let me be.
A little bit of both. Also, there is some X-Men related news, right? Rogue.
Yeah,
It's
Rumored?
not news. It's fake news.
you're fake news.
Probably.
Are you just
Nobody's
hating on
both
like
fake
you don't want it to be the case because you know how that story ends
I
with
literally
Carol
read
getting
it.
owned?
I've literally read everything, and it's a rumor.
I said rumor.
That's not news. I can make a rumor right now.
Tell that to all the news sites that have posted this rumor.
Yeah.
Yeah, because one person posted, then everybody posted.
But it's rumored that the villain of Captain Marvel 2 is going to be Rogue, which it'd also be cool if they add Mystique into this. I 100% called that like a year and a half ago.
I think it'd be Mystique and not Rogue, to be honest. It said an X-Men villain, and then it was jumped to conclusion. So Rogue,
Well, Rogue started as a villain.
well, yeah, but it doesn't really make sense to bring Rogue in for 2. It makes no sense at all. Really.
Unless Mystique's pulling the strings
It
of Rogue.
does if they realize they.
Vis-a-vis X-Men Evolution.
Okay.
It makes
Your
more-
use of the word phrase vis-a-vis aside, Marvel as the MCU, they tend to always throw in like little, not quite Easter eggs, but like continuity mashups that you won't even necessarily think about right away. Like an obvious one is like Wanda and Pietro are bad guys first, even though they're not like bad, and then they switch within the same movie, so they don't have a history of being villains. They're at least on the side of the bad guy initially.
Yeah.
And like Hawkeye, they did the same thing. Like he's the guy who gets corrupted by
Brain control.
with the Loki pokey stick.
That's what
I
you're
never,
going
heard
with?
it, I never heard it called that.
No,
I think he...
Loki. He had the stick and he poked people and he turned them into his little.
We
minions.
know what
They
you're
turn-
talking
they turn
about.
themselves around.
Yeah, yeah. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
God damn.
Loki pokey. So
I swear we get better. Don't turn the show off right now.
This is quality. What are you talking about?
So, I would imagine like Rogue would be a bad guy if they introduced her, and yeah, she'd be on Mystique's side, and then within the movie, she'd be a good guy, probably.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. It just doesn't make sense for Captain Marvel 2, in my opinion.
Sure, it does. Get Carol right out of there.
That's why it makes
So
zero
fast.
sense.
We take offense to your hatred of Carol.
It's like, oh yeah, we sold over $1 billion. You're out.
Yeah, well, she beat my boy to death in Civil War II, and I have not forgiven her.
Yeah, well,
For
he's
being
already
awful.
dead, and you need to get over it.
Who's your boy?
Captain
Stark.
Or, yeah,
Wait, what'd you say? Can you repeat that?
Tony Stark.
All right, you heard it here first.
Yeah, I like
Trash.
Iron Man.
This guy, he's a
Fascist.
traitor.
I'm not saying he's right with AVX. Cyclops always supersedes Tony Stark.
Okay, good. You redeemed yourself.
No.
That's like- no, it makes sense for like a Captain Marvel 3. So it would also make sense, somebody did bring up that it would be Mystique who shows up, and then Rogue would make an appearance, but not be the actual villain, and Mystique would be the villain.
Or if it's Rogue, but really Mystique the whole time.
Well, it being Marvel, I would almost promise that it would be like some fight between Rogue and Captain Marvel's going on. Rogue like absorbs all the powers out of Captain Marvel, and then like realizes through like taking Carol's powers and her memories, realizes that Mystique's actually a bad guy and turns on Mystique.
Or if they don't, well, the reason why I didn't think it would happen in 2 is because how that storyline ended is she's in a coma, and that's not going to happen.
Unless she goes and lives with the X-Men.
Or they decide we were wrong. We really shouldn't have Captain Marvel.
What's with your hate boner for Carol, man?
I've already expressed it.
So
It's just relentless is all.
It's because she stood up too many times. That's your only reason. You hate her because you've watched her stand up
so many times. She stood up so many
how
times.
dare she?
Oh, what are you fucking gonna start bitching about Ludacris next?
Well, he's just telling people to stand up. She listened so many times.
Yeah,
Okay.
all she's doing is listening to Ludacris. You gonna blame her for being a Luda fan?
I mean,
blame
at
anybody
this
for that.
point, maybe a little bit.
Oh, that last album? It's dope.
Hey, that was in the
last
90s,
album.
bro. She listened to him in the
It
90s.
was 2000s.
90s?
It was 2000s.
The Captain Marvel took place in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
She
was
listened to
ahead of her
Ludacris
time,
before it was cool.
Before the song was out.
Yeah. He has a demo.
But also, it could be like she does fight Rogue, but doesn't get put in a coma. So that would make sense.
It just gets like fucked up.
Because they wouldn't cash her out right now. It's too early
Or
for them
dwarfs
to
her. You know what?
toss her aside.
I can see that. Like, because Rogue takes so much of her power, she still has power, but not as much. So she's a more interesting character.
So it's kind of reverse. Because Rogue took her power and she got more powerful. Because she came back as binary. But she's already binary. So it could knock her to her Captain Marvel status, basically.
Yeah. Or like she gets knocked back down to Miss Marvel.
Same.
But-
I'm not saying you demote her in the thing. I'm saying just power levels.
That's the same thing. Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel. That's just a name.
Yeah, she didn't gain any powers going from Miss
She
to
changed
Captain.
her name and got...
Maybe not officially, but
She
she
was
definitely
still-
was doing more.
She was still pretty OP as Miss Marvel.
Because Spider-Man will get his ass whooped by people he shouldn't. Not whooped, but they just don't show him as powerful as he really is a lot of times. And
Yeah, they always explain that with Spider-Man away by like he's so afraid that he's actually gonna hurt somebody that he's throwing like baby punches.
which I heard a good statement for that. That's why he always goes against Colossus.
Oh yeah, because you can just beat on him.
Because he's not afraid he's going to actually hurt them.
Oh, and still get like his ass kicked.
Yeah.
Hey,
He's faster than Colossus, though, so it's a good matchup. He's
They were
not
the
as
Penis
strong,
Five.
but he's faster.
and he still won that fight.
Well,
He was the last one standing. It was from like a kneeled crawling position, but kind of standing.
Yeah, but he lost against just Juggernaut Colossus.
he did.
Yeah, that's
Pretty.
What do you mean, just Juggernaut?
Just
Colossus?
Juggernaut.
Well, because he was way stronger as Juggernaut Colossus Phoenix.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's also the Cosmic Spider-Man. We can do this all day.
but he wasn't
Yeah.
Cosmic Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's no longer.
So we're making things up now?
Yeah. Oh, more X-Men news. Juggernaut series was announced.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is he finally going to go get those other gems or whatever?
Here's the thing. No. Probably not. It's probably just gonna be some like Agent of Krakoa thing, and it's only like 5-issue miniseries.
Oh, by the way, that reminds me of something I got to tell you after we record.
All right, I'll edit that out.
Because I just realized I couldn't say it on the. Yeah, because I think any character that's overpowered is ultimately not interesting when you're watching a story, and that's what they set her up to be, was like Miss Cosmic can beat up whoever, whenever, however.
Well,
Yeah, but I mean,
So how do they ever have a tension with any villain?
Well, it's kind of the same thing they do ever with Superman or Flash. She's obviously going to get somebody who can compete with her. I mean, she punched Namor in the comics, and he just like stood there and laughed.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
It happened.
Okay, but it doesn't make any
wait,
sense.
was it underwater? Because your hand slows
Yeah.
down a little bit. Underwater.
It was underwater.
All right, that explains it. He's in his environment.
Under
Yeah,
the
but
sea.
still, Thing managed to beat him. Fucking garbage underwater.
Well, and also the way you're talking about with overpowered characters, they do the same thing with Reed Richards and Tony Stark. It's that they build something instead of physically outpower somebody. Iron Man's suit is all of a sudden just made out of nanites and.
Well, they have
can't do anything.
montage power.
Yeah.
That's why I
They
don't
have a smart person montage, and they build the thing they need.
Yeah, that's why I don't like rich characters. Or being smart and rich, because you can literally do anything.
Yeah,
Your
prep
power
time,
is
Batman.
Anything.
In Zdarsky's Fantastic Four X-Men crossover that he just came out with, the first issue for, he points out that like Franklin Richards says to the Thing, isn't it convenient how Dad can solve all of the world's problems besides us?
Yeah.
Like, he needs your strength, and he doesn't want me to be a mutant, and somehow those are the two problems he can't seem to solve.
Fucking dig at Daddy.
I know what you meant that to sound like, but
I know.
it sounds like you're upset at your boyfriend because he...
Didn't spoil you enough this week or
Yeah. Valentine's Day is next weekend. Well, when this comes out, it was 2 weeks ago, so I guess you have a right to be mad.
No, I think Aaron and I are both going to Hooters.
Nice.
What is this, 2007?
No,
I'd
apparently.
go if there was one around here.
There is, there's this one, half an hour from here.
Yeah, it's too far.
You drive 45 minutes to go to the Golden Corral. I don't want to
Okay.
hear that. Hooters
Yo.
is too
That's
far.
only because my family wants me to go. I'm not going to go to Corral alone. 45-minute drive.
Their wings slap.
No, they don't. Their
Yes,
wings are
they do.
terrible.
Oh, no, they're not. Aaron and I went. It was amazing.
Maybe the regular wings are good. Their boneless wings taste like fried asshole.
Oh, what? No, don't get boneless wings.
I've never been to Hooters, to be honest.
Those are just chopped up tenders that are then fucking deep fried.
I went with a friend and he spent $45 on a tip there because they were
my
nice to him.
Oh my god.
One of those people. Oh,
What
you
a sap.
smiled at me. Slap a 20 down.
It was funny because she kept, our waitress kept flirting with Aaron and sitting close to her and stuff. And I was like, oh, I see this game.
And you know what else is funny? How good all new X-Men is.
I know. I was just thinking about that.
I mean, I guess there are funny bits. Yeah. So episode 6 of All New X-Men opens with Jean having a crazy dream of Scott and Magneto opening her bedroom door come on, we gotta go. They're gonna kill you. And she's like, wait, what?
Get to the chopper.
And then Wolverine just shows up, bursting through walls and shit, and he's like, stab you in the throat.
In the throat,
And
not
then
the stomach.
Yeah, because it's her dream. She doesn't know about the stomach thing.
Yeah. And then, she should, because she got Beast memories of her. So she knows all of her life through Beast.
She improved his way, maybe. Or maybe that's even worse. I don't know about getting stabbed in the stomach.
Well,
so
because
maybe
she
it
doesn't
drowns.
die. She's like, oh my god. And she's looking and the phoenix forms in her eyeball. And then she wakes up. And when she wakes up, she's destroyed the bedroom that turns out to be Kitty's room. She let her use it.
I hate it when that shit happens.
Yeah, I know. You let someone use your room and then they destroy it.
Yeah.
With their telekinesis.
I know.
Even
Fucking
worse.
assholes.
It's like, hey, man, I understand that you were having a dream that a wolf stabbed you in the throat.
A wolf man.
Yeah. And
a
technically,
short one.
A Wolverine man. But that's no excuse.
Closer
go
to
through my
Badger than
underwear.
Wolf. But yeah.
You could say he's more like a Wolverine.
You could, but you said wolf, and I was like, oh, well, he's definitely not as fierce as a wolf. Maybe Badger, in terms of his stature.
Speaking on stature, the height of drama in this issue.
Oh, yeah. Pinnacle.
Yeah.
Lots of drama, yeah. So she has that TK event where she blows up the room, and Kitty's like, hey, is everything okay? And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry about your room. And she's like, oh, I'm so messy. I would have never noticed anyway had I not heard it.
Where's Kitty staying? She's sleeping on the couch downstairs.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, don't they have dorms?
It's a fucking mansion. Don't they have another room?
Yeah. It's such a weird, but it's establishing a rapport between Kitty and Jean early on of you taught me when I was your age and now I'm teaching you.
Well, they built the mansion expecting no more mutants to ever show up, and now they have 5 new ones. So maybe that's why they don't have any rooms ready.
If they did that, then they're assholes because they went and made that school. And never mind. They rebuilt that school before AVX, obviously.
Yeah, they rebuilt it during Schism.
Yeah.
They're always rebuilding that school.
All right, fair enough. They didn't think they were gonna have more, but
It's like one of those, instead of being smaller on the outside and bigger on the inside, it's bigger on the outside. It's
like a reverse TARDIS.
Yeah.
all right. But they've had enough time to know that there are new mutants and that they could have
Remodel a house?
Well, they built it pretty fucking quick in the first place. Wolverine was just like, I want to rebuild the school, and literally the next week there's a school.
Yeah, but he's been drunk since then.
It's all that Madripoor money.
It is. So Scott gets overwhelmed by all the judgment. He goes to the cafeteria and everyone's like sort of staring at him, and he's just like, "Yeah, so this is weird for me. I'm gonna leave." And then he steals Wolverine's motorcycle because karma.
Yeah, I like that homage to the movie.
Yeah, Wolverine's always taking Scott's stuff, and so he turned it around on him.
Yeah, just imagine if young Scott got back and was like, "You're out of gas."
Yeah, and then right away, Wolverine's just like, "Oh, I hear my motorcycle, son of a bitch," and then he goes chasing after Scott. And then right after that, Jean has another freak out, but this time a psychic one instead of a telekinetic one, and Kitty helps her come back down off of that, which is cool because again, it's building the rapport between the two of them. And there was this nice little moment where after she gets her to calm down and focus on her own thoughts, and she's like, "Oh, so we were friends? Like, yeah, you were great." And then she's like has that thought of like, well, sort of like I kind of liked you. I kind of didn't.
You were kind of a dick.
What was I admired you.
Yeah,
Kind
I
of.
admired you, kind of, yeah. And she's like, well, kind of. I was like, all right, so you're a
Shit.
little...
I can't think of anything.
You read my mind. Fuck.
She's like, "My bad. Did my thoughts give away how I felt about you?"
Pretty much, yeah. But then her explanation was you were kind of hard on me.
Yeah, like I tried to help you cook one time, and you were like, no seasonings.
Also, that was Gambit.
I assume it's everyone who tries to help Dean cook.
She's not having it.
Also, you guys just left me home alone when the monsters attacked me. Go listen to our Christmas episode to hear that story.
To hear both stories.
Yeah.
So
Both separate Christmas episodes.
yeah, so Scott, he goes to some sort of, I guess, like a 7-Eleven quick stop type place.
Quickie
And-
Mart.
A Quickie Mart. Yeah. And he goes in there and he
I
sees
actually think it's the Circle K.
all right. And he sees a magazine with himself, his older self on it, and because he's trying to understand more, like, because he's dealing with the whole, like, how could I grow up to become this guy who does all the things I, right now, am against and can never imagine myself doing?
Which is funny because it looks like he straight posed for that Rolling Stone magazine. Like, it's not
Yeah.
a picture that was taken, from afar. It's like he set up a photo shoot for that.
Yeah.
Even though he's wanted.
He's like back to back with Magneto.
And he's just got his fists crossed over in the neck.
He's doing
But
the-
young Cyclops does see that and he's like, "Oh, dope."
frame this up.
Well, he's sort of still like the whole out of time thing, though. He's like, why is the water in bottles? He's like, what's wrong with the water?
Yeah, what happened to water? And he was surprised that it was $5 for a magazine.
Yeah, she's like, $5. He's like, "For a magazine?"
This is a nightmare.
I'm barely even in it.
Can I just have a first page?
I just really want this cover. I look kind of dope.
Can I take a
Which is pretty funny because it's not so far, because the timeline or whatever, sliding timeline. So it's not really the 60s, but he's definitely acting like he's from the 60s.
Yeah.
He's-
They do like a weird thing where they still make it like 60s-ish, even though it's been like 50 years.
Well, around this time, they did a what is it? Like first season or season 1 book that was
okay.
marketed towards younger readers, not
Was
like
that?
little kids, but
I read it that way.
yeah, me too. But I mean, just like the stylization of how they made it, it was just like a simpler
Oh.
concept. And for the X-Men season 1, you have your original 5 X-Men, but it's all modern. Like Jean has a smartphone and shit.
Yeah, I do remember that. That was weird.
yeah, they've done that with Spider-Man in the last few years too. So
What, modernized his past?
yeah, they do it with everybody except for like Frank Castle, who's like, "Hey man, you just got to change wars." But so right now Frank Castle's like 73.
It was the same thing with
technically.
Magneto. He's going to be old as shit.
Yeah, but they've at least have explained his where like he's got a serum that makes him look younger.
Did they? I thought
Yeah.
he got grown in a younger body or some shit. He was baby Magneto, wasn't he, for a minute or something like that?
Wasn't that like House of M?
No. it was
House of
in the
M,
past.
Magneto was baby
Or
Magneto.
not House of M, Asteroid M. When they did, somebody was babies and Moira had to take care of somebody.
Didn't the X-Men get turned into babies?
At one point, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting turned into a dang baby around here.
Babality.
Yeah, it's stupid. So, Scott goes to, he checks the pockets of Logan's jacket, and he pulls out this thick-ass wad of cash. He's like, why does he got so much fucking money? And then Wolverine just, whispers in his ears, because it's none of your damn business, kid.
I like to think that he
Turn
whispered
around
like
and find
super soft. And, like, breathed really heavy in his ear.
I feel like before he even said anything, he was going...
Just leaned his pelvis in and did that French press you were talking about.
Good job referencing jokes from before we recorded.
Yeah, it's called an inside joke.
Yeah, you guys will never get it. He did a couple reps of the French press.
We're saying a French press is when you take the tip of your penis and slightly press it against somebody's butthole.
And they're wearing some pretty tight clothes, so I'm guessing it's not so hard to, like, at least the accuracy, you know?
You think they wear cups in those?
I think they should.
They should, but I don't think they do.
But according to some artists' depictions, not at all. Not at all. You're straight up seeing sex.
You gotta show the bulge.
Definitely showing some thongs.
Wolverine confronts him about leaving. He's like, I want you to get back on my bike and take it back to the school right now. And, like, you're giving me more trouble than the older you and all that stuff.
Pulls him by his ear, which is pretty funny.
I just got to point out, though, he has such an over-dramatic reaction to them saying how much the magazine was.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, it's $4.99. He's like, this place is a nightmare.
Yeah. $5 for a magazine? Plus tax. So Wolverine's like, you're getting your ass back to the school. And he's like, he sounds like such a little kid. He's like, why can't you just let me do what I want?
I mean, he's 15.
I know, but still. It's funny.
Like, pull me by my ear and just buy it. He's like, I know he spent $5. My bad. And I was even considering getting some of that nice bottled water.
I mean, it's fair, though. All he's doing is, like, I mean, he did steal his motorcycle, so that was a little fucked up. But, I mean, all he's doing is, like, he left the school, and they're like, get back there.
Yeah, he's not, like, running away, so to speak. He's just, because he was in a really awkward position. He was walking into the cafeteria, everyone was just staring at him, and he tried to just be like I think he said something about, okay, so, like, I don't know, I was the leader of the X-Men. For me, that was yesterday, and now all this, I don't understand.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go.
He's used to being like 4 people, and he's the leader, and now he walks into school, and it's a shitload of kids at the lunch table all staring at him.
Yeah, everybody hates him.
Who, in a sense, are way freakier mutants than he's even used to seeing.
Yeah.
He's used to
Glob's right there.
He's used to his friends making fun of him for being boring.
Yeah.
And now, like, everybody's like, hey, you are kind of leading the mutant revolution.
And also, like, when he does that at a table, it's just like younger Beast talking to older Beast, younger Bobby talking to older Bobby. Like, they're the ones who are adjusting the easiest because they have, like, their counterparts right there. And they're realizing, like, oh, okay, it's not so bad for me, at least.
I mean, it kind of turns around on Iceman later.
Yeah. But you're jumping ahead.
Yeah, but it's still apt.
Yeah. And this whole time, Warren is, like, feeling abandoned and upset because he doesn't even want to be in that time. He got outvoted. He didn't even agree to put it to a vote. And they're just like, screw it, man. You're gonna be here. So he's above the school, and he sees when Scott leaves on the motorcycle and Wolverine goes to chase him.
Yeah, also the ground spits up a person for, like, Krakoa.
Does it spit up a person? I know
It's
it
just
burps.
like, yeah, it's like, but it's got eyes and a mouth of burping.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Krakoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you said, like,
Yeah,
I thought I
he
missed a
burped out
person. Yeah. Yeah.
Nah, it's a Krakoa face.
Well, because you know it eats people.
Yeah, that was his face, like, in the past. Cyclops blasted Wolverine, too, right before Warren saw that.
Oh, yeah. After Warren saw that.
He should be fine anyway because he's strong against ground types.
Oh, yeah, timeline.
Yeah, time-wise. Yeah, because he
Timeline-wise.
sees... Yeah. Technically, the book ends on Warren's perspective, but Warren's perspective is happening before the blast was... Yeah. So, we'll fix it. We'll go back and do it that way. So, Wolverine pulls Scott out of the store, and he's chastising him, and Scott's like, back off, let me do what I want, and he pushes him, and Wolverine doesn't budge, and he's like, ow, and he's like, yeah, unbreakable bones, and then he's giving him more shit, and then they go out toward the motorcycle, and Scott's like, oh yeah, unbreakable bones, right? And Wolverine's like, yup, and then Scott's like, hold on, let me tie my boot that has no laces.
Energy blast, huh?
Here's one from a,
Rookie.
amateur. because I've been an X-Man 3 weeks.
Yeah, hit him with that classic one-liner.
Yeah.
K. And blast him.
Yeah, the classic one
Scott.
letter.
Yeah.
And then so we go back in time now
Go back in time.
to Warren looking over and seeing them leave, and he's like, "So I'm just gonna get left here. You're leaving me too, Scott." Which, like, why does Scott know that he's just hovering all sad above the school?
Yeah, apparently Cyclops is like Warren's keeper now and has to keep him at his side.
I don't know, but he's really sad for some reason. And
I
then
mean, it kind of makes sense. He didn't even want to be there, and he's like getting forced to be there. Literally forced.
I love the idea though that Angel is like the Dante from Clerks.
Oh,
This whole
yeah.
thing. I wasn't even supposed to be in the future.
but I mean weird because, like, of their personality types, you would expect it from, like, Scott, but Warren was the more carefree, like, you know, adventurous one, right? Like,
But he's
you'd
like, "I'm
think
broke
he'd
here.
be I got
Where's
no
my
money.
butler?
Where are my riches?
He only really cares about himself being in the future when he finds
He
out.
really does. And when he meets himself, he's
doesn't meet himself.
yeah, exactly. So it's more like his future self, who is no longer himself, meets him, and he's like, "Oh, so you're me? Like from the past, and like the other past people are here? That's awesome. Let's go flying." And they go flying, and that's where the issue ends. But it's really weird. You know, that dynamic that unfolds
Yeah. later. I mean, that's sort of where the issue ends. It
Oh
ends
no,
with
yeah, right.
Mystique giving her little finger taps against each other, like, young,
I
young
spoke-
X-Men.
I spoke too soon because I just looked at my notes, and the last note was Mystique learns about young Scott, and that's where it ends.
Yes.
So yeah,
And then the cover of the next one is some weird combination of her, like, cradling his head, but also looks like she's about to snap Scott's neck,
which is kind of what happens in a sense.
I liked it. It's a dope cover.
metaphorically speaking.
Yeah, exactly that, metaphorically speaking.
We all...
So Scott, because he gets away from Wolverine, because Wolverine, after he gets blasted, goes all stab crazy.
Also does standard Marvel disguise for the movies.
Hilarious.
Puts
Puts
on
on
a
a hat.
hat, already had the glasses.
Well,
No, he's
already
in a
had the jacket.
visor, and he puts the hat on like it stops people from seeing the visor. He's Cyclops in a baseball
Well, he's
cap.
like, maybe they'll just think I'm the BK kid.
Well, the hat was forward, not
Which
backwards.
also, he had those sunglasses when he took them off to blast Wolverine. Where did they go?
Yeah. He also goes in...
I think that was just an artist error, because later he gets the sunglasses, like when he gets in the security deposit box, grabs the sunglasses, like, "Oh, this is so much better than the visor."
Yeah, which was weird
Because you already had sunglasses.
you had sunglasses, and now you're wearing these old ass clunky ones.
Yeah, I want to be more conspicuous.
Yeah. So Scott goes to a bank where he knows he has a safety deposit box, at least in his time. So he's hoping the older him has it there too. And he meets a not quite a teller, right?
Is she
a teller?
Yeah. But before we get to that, did you... Because they flashed, like, a series of magazines. Did you see what the magazine said?
Well, they show, like, I know there's like a table with some magazines, and there's that one that he was gonna buy on the table.
Yeah, and then the other one says the Avengers Mutant Cover-Up.
Yeah, and then there's another one for Time Magazine that just says New Mutants.
Oh.
Question mark.
But yeah, they have Captain America's shield, and it's for People Magazine it says Mutant Cover-Up. Avengers Mutant Cover-Up.
Like they were covering up the fact that the Avengers and Mutants fought?
Well, because they didn't tell everybody, obviously, it was the Phoenix and what happened, and just like they didn't know the charges that were being put against Cyclops, they just know he fucked up.
Also, that bank teller is wearing some flair for the X-Men.
Yeah?
She's got the little X on her.
She got
And
some
if you
merch.
want, if you want some flair like that, we offer that at our TeePublic.
Yeah, because you can get a pin, right?
Yeah, you can get a small or large one.
This is what we're doing?
Right.
Mid rolls?
Boom. Got dropped.
I'm just saying, they got them. We got them.
Because they made a point. Yeah, they zoomed in on her pin. She's wearing an X-Men pin, so Cyclops like, oh, I can trust her. Which is
Well,
kind of
sort
weird.
of.
You think she'd probably get beat up for wearing that, but whatever.
Why?
Because mutants
She's a
are
mutant
hated
sympathizer,
right
but
now.
she's not like... Well,
You think some racist scare? You're wearing a mutant pin, you get beat.
I don't think they're actively racist to that degree until they actually meet a mutant, and then they freak the fuck out.
The way you said that,
Tell
though,
that to Jumbo Carnation.
Carnation?
Yeah.
Well,
The
that
way-
was earlier.
It's a new time.
the way you said that,
And
though,
he was a Carnation.
remind me of the current of Marauders that they're doing, where Pyro is talking to a bunch of racists, and he says, "Where sheep get beat." That's the greatest line they've ever given Pyro.
You know, I realize when he comes back, he won't have that dumb
Skull.
tattoo yet.
Yeah.
That's probably why he did it, because he was like, I'm gonna die eventually, and at least I won't have this. But what if Xavier's like, no, make him have it?
You know, you can just do tons of dumb stuff, like your friend dies or is asleep, and you're gonna literally like tattoo a ball sack on his head or something like that. You're like, you gotta live with that.
You're like, I'm just joking, bro. And you stab him in the fucking temple. Too dark.
Well,
They
it's
come
like,
back to life.
didn't we make this joke with Chamber? How it was like he either blows off his jaw or he blows off his asshole. And so like they made him, and he was like, "Oh, I choose not to blow off my jaw," and then his ass just blows off on fire, and
Now he's Jet ass for real.
yeah,
Actually,
and he's just like, "Kill me now, do it over. I want to lose my jaw." So, anyway,
he meets the
Scott-
same end as Cyclops'
Scott-
jetpack.
Scott goes to he ends up under the sea.
Under
Scott's jetpack has like 3 different endings.
it blows up.
Yeah, but then
Flies
there's
off into the one that Hope had.
which she took all 3 of them.
But yeah, Scott's at the bank.
Yeah, he's at the bank. She's like, "Oh wait, you don't have your key or any ID, but all right, well, you're Cyclops. You're definitely Cyclops. So,
So you just show up
I'll
in a
take you
visor,
right to
and that's all you need.
yeah."
Yeah, she
the
also
safety
says,
deposit box.
"Aren't you like 40 years old?" But canonically at this time, Cyclops is like 28 or 29.
I
I
know,
think
but
he's in his 30s.
They say during I can't remember exactly what, but like a recent storyline to this, he was like 25, and
What?
this is supposed to be like 2 to 3 years after that.
I think that's decided after the fact, though.
Yeah.
This is one of the references I was talking about where I was so confused later when they did that annual, and they had him just a few years ago. He was at MIT and he saves that guy from the clearly Professor Xavier looking dude who's not Professor Xavier.
Yeah.
Yeah. That when they established so he was 19 or 20 in that uniform, I was like, all right, this makes no sense because they say in this he's like 40, and because this is one of a few times where they're going to do that.
Well, they didn't actually say his age. She says you look like 40.
Oh,
so
I know,
he's
but
fine.
everyone else is also saying and they look 12.
I just
and-
have the responsibility
Yeah.
of 40.
Yeah, he's grand. Like being the president.
I just led a mutant nation since I was 22.
Because, yeah, if he was 25, then Kitty's still 13 and a half.
pretty much.
I thought he was only like 5 years older than her.
No.
Jean was only in the class ahead of her, so really it should be a year. But
Well, Xavier takes a long ass time to recruit students. So.
grooming, it's grooming.
He wants to really put in the elbow grease on the one class first before getting a new batch.
You gotta maximize the results.
But yeah, they go into the safety deposit box.
We're still there.
Yeah, and
We're still at the very beginning.
he's got a sick pair of Bret Hart sunglasses in there.
Yeah, pretty much. And he's like, "Oh, these are so much more comfortable." And then he sees a bunch of money, and he's like, "Thank you, Scott Summers." And he sees the invitation for his wedding.
Yeah, and a lot of naked pictures of Emma in there, too.
That wasn't in the.
Oh, that's just in my copy.
Apparently, you can't read subtext.
That's what he was thanking Scott Summers for.
All the weird shit he sees that he put in there, after he remembers. Like, what the fuck is this?
It's just like a size chart of his penis measurements.
Later, when Wolverine takes back his jacket, Scott forgot the pictures in the the pocket. He's
like
like,
when-
"What? Oh,
Just puts them back in there. Just for later. It's
thank you, Scott Summers."
Thanks, bub.
When you said that penis size chart, remind me of when they do the kid size chart as it's getting bigger, when it's just a penis chart.
It's not just lines; it's detailed illustrations.
He traced it.
So the teller goes to tell the other teller, yeah, who's also a woman. It's crazy. They name her exactly what she is, and does. But she goes and tells the other teller that you'll never guess who's in the safety deposit box room. It's Scott Summers. And the other one's like, you mean like the mutant terrorist Scott Summers?
What a snitch.
And she's like, well, like, that stuff's all fake, right? That's like the propaganda cover-up of the Avengers and the United States government. And then the other teller's like, did you break your brain? No, he's a terrorist. So she gets a security guard, and she's like, we gotta get rid of this guy. Because he's a terrorist. And he's just in... Sorry, I'm trying so hard not to sneeze right now. And he's just in the safety deposit box doing doing whatever. God knows what.
Jerking off in the fucking safety deposit room.
Boy, he's got those pictures.
He's got all them pictures, yeah. And his penis size check. He's got to compare.
Yeah. Like older Scott, like the way people mark on a door frame or whatever. Older Scott has his marked, and he's like, oh, I wonder if I get any bigger.
He's like, well, where do I compare now? Oh, 15? Makes sense.
He's like all demoralized because he sees the charts bigger. He's like, oh.
It was like, it shrinks. What the fuck?
So Wolverine shows up, and he's like, hey, you jerk.
Get
they out of here.
Do reference how big Cyclops' balls are later, though.
Yep.
Directly.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Yep. So Wolverine shows up because there are some security guards with guns drawn on Cyclops, and he's like, what are you drawing guns at people for? Like, did he rob a bank? Did you rob the bank? And he's like, no, I didn't rob the bank. He's like, see, he didn't rob the bank. Like, get out of our way. And he pulls out an Avengers card, and he's like, Captain America says this makes me more important than you. And so put your guns on the ground.
It's like you're a mall cop.
I like that dialogue where he's like, put the guns down, and the officer's like, on the ground. He's like, yes, put the guns down on the ground.
Yeah.
You fucking idiot.
And he grabs Scott by the ear, pulls him out of the bank, and Scott's like, let me go. Why can't you just let me go and leave me alone? And they get into an alley, and he's like, all right, calm down. I'm not Wolverine.
Yeah, calls him honey first, though.
Yeah.
Which I thought was hilarious.
No,
I didn't know
darling.
It was Mystique. Yeah, it was Darling. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on
He's
here?
like, Scott, darling, not everything is what it seems. Hey, I'm Mystique.
He's like, what the what?
Which then he
How'd you do
immediately
that?
gets turned down by Mystique.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, whoa, offended is not the word I would use.
Pretty much.
He's like, why'd you rescue me? I heard about the pictures of Emma.
OG move.
Why does that sound like a YouTuber that sells like fucking life drinks?
OG move?
Fitness YouTuber.
Yeah.
I don't know. So Mystique starts telling him some shit where she's not quite lying, but definitely exaggerating. She's like, yeah, so turns out, I mean, you did kill Xavier, but some people would argue not really you. And he's like, what do you mean not really me? He's like, well, the Phoenix Force was inside of Scott Summers, and some are arguing he couldn't control it.
Yeah. Also, they never explained to him what the Phoenix Force is.
Yeah,
He shouldn't know at this point.
Yeah, over these next few books, they find out that, like, older Beast, kind of just, it lied to them.
Yeah.
I feel like, though, she was like, yeah, he was possessed by the Phoenix Force. And he was like, right. And in his head, he's like, that sounds bad. Like, I don't know what that means, but it sounds bad.
So he was possessed and did a thing that because he's thinking, like, all right, I can never imagine doing anything harmful to Xavier, and now you're telling me that I was possessed by something? That's probably how I would have done something bad to Xavier.
Yeah, she didn't say the Phoenix Force. She said,
like a cosmic
the word
force,
is
yeah.
he was under the influence of a power he couldn't control.
See, that's even worse, though, because for the rest of his life, he, like, gets the mind of Apocalypse in him, and he's like, is this it? Do I kill somebody now? Like, and then something else, like, gets, because he gets, like, 4 different things he has to take into his brain before, like,
The Void at one
Yeah,
point.
the Void, Apocalypse.
So each time until, like, he gets to the Phoenix Force, he's got to be like, is this it?
Well, he's not thinking that.
He's getting his mind
Yeah,
right.
but I'm
Because he
saying,
doesn't
like,
get those memories back until after his resurrection.
that would be the implication, though,
yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
And she is lying to him because she's straight manipulating him for her own.
Yeah, well, because she's not, actually. She's telling him the truth only to then lie to him and be like, the only person who can stop you is you. You're the only person.
You gotta kill you.
Because no one can stop Scott Summers except Scott Summers. You're ruthless. And he's like, I'm not ruthless. And she's like, when you set your mind to something, you don't stop until you achieve it, right? That sounds pretty ruthless to
She
me.
said she's not ruthless too. I'm like, bitch, please.
He pulls out a knife and just starts stabbing himself. She's like, no, that's not what I
Wrong
meant.
Scott Summers.
She's like bleeding out of his eye. You said to be ruthless.
It's making me think of that video where the guy's like, no, Photoshop. He's like, oh, Photoshop?
Yeah. That's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. Another inside joke. So, he's like, and she's like, in that school, right? That abomination of the school. Isn't that pretty terrible? You know what you should do? You should shut that down. Then you should go to yourself and shut yourself down. And then she's like, have a good day. And leaves. Like, yeah, that's gonna fucking light that on fire.
Wolverine just pulls up. He's like, get in the car. We're picking up chicks.
He's like, going to rob a bank, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
Because he pulls up like a parent who just shows up to pick up their kid from soccer practice or some shit, and the coach had called their parents because they were misbehaving on the field.
Yeah.
Cyclops, when he does get picked him up, he's like, it's like, what if I can't be saved? He's like, steal my shit again. And he's like, I'll cut something off you.
Those
It's like,
big
ignore the
cojones.
question.
That was actually, there was a nice line Mystique had when she was pretending to be Wolverine. Was like, look, you shoot me, I won't get hurt, and then I'll cut your hands off. And then I go back to where I came from, and then you have no hands.
Yeah.
So it's up to you.
Which at some point Wolverine should think about putting that into his conversational repertoire.
He'll write it down in his little notepad.
If you shoot me. He's like, I'm getting tired of cutting all these goddamn hands
It's
off.
like Gorgon in that X-Men
That was
book where
so
he just
awesome.
cuts all those guys' arms off, and he's
Yeah.
like, the old me would have just killed you, but the new me is more enlightened.
Yeah. That's a reference to Hickman's X-Men number 5.
Yeah, it's such a great book. Such a great Magneto monologue, too.
It's like those dudes are probably all dead anyway. They're just
all bled out.
Bleeding out.
He cauterized the wounds.
Well, it's not like they could walkie-talkie for help.
He used a lightsaber.
So, it jumps back over to Kitty, though, who's training the only 3 X-Men who are around. And even Bobby's like, so we're not going to wait for Scott and Angel. She's like, they'll come when they come. And Bobby's all like, I'm an X-Man. I don't need to train like this. And she's like, yeah, for like, what, 2 weeks you've been an X-Men? You don't know what you're talking about. He's like, well, I fought Magneto. He's like, you fought Magneto once, and I saw that. You threw snowballs at him. And he's like,
Your balls haven't dropped.
Eunice the Untouchable? I totally touched him.
He's touching that, Eunice.
Yeah, he's like, that sounded wrong. Like that.
Although, that's not really what he meant.
Foreshadowing.
Yep.
But she was just dissing him. She was like, he says, I can make ice with my body. He's like, your flabby baby boy body.
She calls him Ice Boy, and she makes him attack him, and then she does it like a judo fucking throw.
Yeah, and she's also like, you have like the same attitude as my Iceman, but I find him charming, like where you annoy me. And then
Yeah.
Jean's like, you find the older one charming? Like, they're all just annoying.
Yeah, so she kind of owns him in that, and is like, see, you guys do need to train and start listening to me and taking me seriously. And then...
Kitty calls Iceman sexist for not punching her in the nose.
Yeah.
I'm not hitting a girl. Which is kind of weird because at this point they're training with Jean. I don't know. It seemed weird that he'd have that attitude.
Yeah. So Scott shows up, and he's holding the wedding invitation. He hands it to Jean, and he just walks off kind of mad, and she's kind of teary. Yeah. It's a weird thing.
She's just glad to be invited.
So formally?
Yeah.
Well, because there's still a lot of tension between Jean and Scott at this point. Because where we end in issue 5, Scott tries to talk to Jean, and she blows him off.
Some bullshit.
Yeah, for like no reason.
The writing is weird, yeah, because she's like, get the hell away from me, Scott. And then now we got this going on.
Everybody's like pissy at him and like so supportive of Jean, and she's the only one who's acting like a total fucking supervillain at parts in this.
Oh,
Yeah, coming up. But I mean, it makes sense why he'd want to leave. Like, Warren's freaking out, so he can't go to Warren. He probably blames Beast, and Bobby's too immature. Probably Jean was the only one he could go to. and she's shunning him, so he's like, fuck, and he just leaves.
Yeah,
and he meets this Mystique chick that gives him a boner and tells him all these nice, flattering things, even though they're super dark. And then she just leaves, and he's like, oh, that was weird.
I like, though, that they're like sitting on a bench talking, and he puts his backpack over his
Like he takes the jacket off, but he's now covering his leg. He ties it around him, but in the opposite direction that most people tie jackets around their waist.
It's like, I'm from the 60s. This isn't lame yet.
He's normally the type to tie it around the chest, though, not the waist.
Over the shoulders?
Yeah.
I think that's more Warring Worthington the Third.
Speaking of which, issue 8.
Good transition.
Nice.
Yep. Picks right up with both Warren Worthington the Thirds. So the third squared. And they're, flying, and younger Warren's having a hard time keeping up with older Warren. And he keeps asking him questions like, why are my wings metal and shit? And older Warren's just sort of ignoring him the whole time. And then, so he keeps realizing things are off.
Just like every other person in this timeline.
Yeah, he's even being ignored by himself. And then older Warren sees that Hydra is attacking Avengers Tower. And so they go and start attacking Hydra.
I say Warren sounds high, the old Warren, because young Warren's freaking out like, what happened to you? What's up with your wings? What's going on? And he's like, whoa, you need to relax, man.
Yeah.
Let's fly.
Yeah. Well, because he's Angel. Like, that's it. Like, his whole personality right now is, like, he's super smart but super mellow. Yeah. Like, he's practically a genius because he starts off with no memory and little to no thoughts. He's basically a baby in a man's body. And at the school, he just becomes, like, a genius. But he's still, like, spacey.
Yeah.
In his brain.
Like getting those nugs from Storm's attic.
It's so weird that everybody in, like, the X-Men is either...
It's a callback to our greenhouse.
Is either stupid or a genius, though.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's kind of average intelligence. It's either, like... Which, Bobby is kind of average intelligence, but they always act like he's fucking dumb.
Yeah. Scott probably comes the closest to being, like, because he's not a genius, but he's also not an idiot.
Tactical leader.
Yeah, but because it's such a specific niche, he probably comes the closest to an average intelligence.
Yeah. I mean, all the other ones are kind of niche with, like, theoretical physics. That's a pretty niche topic.
Well, it's a pretty broad topic. It's theoretical.
So is yelling commands.
You yell anything.
Cover a broad
commanding voice.
Like, hey, shoot a thing.
So, apparently Hydra has these, like, tanks made out of balsa wood because...
Yeah, you never heard of balsa tanks?
Because younger Warren is just smashing through them. Double stomping the fuck out of all these things.
I'm like, what is going on here? Yeah, it didn't make sense. He's just smashing machines with his feet.
Like,
I mean,
older Warren makes sense.
It should be reinforced glass, but he went through the glass.
Yeah.
They really cheaped out on it.
But, like, his only move, though, is to, like, fly at a thing and then drop kick it.
Yeah, but
he does it, like, 3 or 4 times.
She also does say, the Hydra leader does say that they cheaped out on, like, all their help.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a writing error. It was probably meant to be older Warren. Because it looks like he just flies straight through the ship or whatever. And it explodes, which makes no sense.
Yeah. Well, older Warren is, like, tearing them apart.
Well, yeah, he should be. Yeah. I feel like it was
it's got metal wings.
Error. Because it doesn't make sense that he could do that, obviously. He's just going to splat against that thing.
Yeah, the whole time, younger Warren is like, hey, why don't we call the Avengers? And older Warren's like, oh, do you have a cell phone?
He's like, yeah, you should. All right, yeah, I agree. We can call the X-Men or the Avengers. You got a phone?
He's like, I'll go find a phone booth.
He's like, I don't carry one on me. Do you see how tight this outfit is?
And I mean, toy. Like a toiga. But older Warren's like, so wait, the Avengers, they're not even here. You guys are fighting an empty building? You're so lame. You can't even fight the Avengers? And they are getting owned by 2 Warren Worthington the Thirds. Like, that's sad.
Yeah, they're not going to put that on their resume.
Got ass beat by 2 angels.
Like, at one point, the younger angel gets his wings singed, and he's like, oh, you're going to burn me? And then he actually starts wanting to fight and beats the shit out of more of them. It's crazy. And then when you do think that, because younger Warren gets hit and he starts falling, and the Hydra lady's got him in her sights to shoot him, and then Thor just shows up and he's like, "Get out my home."
Well, it's the whole Avengers.
Yeah, I know, but he is the one who does the
He's
thing.
just up front, but Hulk is giving his pouty lip face. Like he's got one finger over his lips.
Yeah, and older Warren catches him and he's like, "Don't worry, I can heal you." And younger Warren's like, "What? Heal me? Since when can I heal people?" And there's this awkward moment where he realizes, like, this ain't me. And then it's followed by older Warren admitting, "I'm not you." He's like, "Okay, so I was you, but I'm Angel now. That you's gone."
That's so confusing.
Yeah,
he's
like,
What?
"That's what I'm saying too." Of course, you're not me right now. I'm me right now. You were me in the past.
and I'm Angel too.
You speaking in riddles?
It's like, I get it. You're wearing the uniform. When you're in the uniform, you're Angel. But we both know we're Warrington. Warren Worthington. And then Cap shows up and he's like, "So why are there two of you?" And that's a fair enough question.
Yeah. So Cap goes to the mansion and is just like whispering at Beast while everybody has to guess what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah, which is weird that, like, he singles out Beast to be like...
Because it's his fault.
No, I know, but, like, as in mutant matters, I'm going to discuss it with this guy. I'm talking to my mutant.
It kind of
Yeah.
skips forward, so I'm guessing that young Warren said it was Beast. Because he says, "Why are there two of you?" And then it skips to Captain America showing up at the school.
Yeah, but you'd think Captain America would be talking to the X-Men as a group, and he has Beast come over to him.
Yeah, but it's also not the first time that somebody was like, "Oh, like, this had to be the responsibility of an X-Men. What X-Men could do this?" And then, like, there's already been, like, one or two situations where they're like, "Beast. This is obviously Beast."
Right. I'm saying the dynamic of how it happens. Usually that situation is Scott and whoever the other person is, and that's because Scott's the leader of the X-Men. Beast is not the leader of the X-Men. He just pulls Beast aside to talk to him directly about an issue concerning all the X-Men that, yeah, Beast is responsible for, but, like, Cap, like, he's both mad but also, like, trying to understand from Beast's
He's
perspective.
not mad. He's disappointed.
I think it was science talk, and that's why I went to Beast. It wasn't like an X-Men problem. It's like, are you going to destroy all of time right now? Do you know what you're doing? Because I have absolutely no idea what you're doing.
I mean, we can actually see what they're talking about through Kitty and Iceman.
Yeah, exactly, because that's what happens is that Iceman and Kitty end up having the conversation on their behalf, like, just guessing at what it's going to be. It's a little funny.
They're fucking nailing it.
Yeah. And then young Scott just sort of walks out and goes up to Captain America and shuts him up by just saying, "Hey, nice to meet you. I'm going to do everything I can to undo this stuff. Peace." And then Captain America's just like, all right.
He's got his old glasses back, by the way.
Yeah.
I have to point out, though, one part of what Iceman said doing the voice of Captain America. Because Kitty is saying, as Beast, like, talking about the space-time continuum. And Iceman, as Captain America, says, "Don't talk to me with your double-talking space science jibber-jabber. I'm from the 1940s. I don't understand how you people do it with your Model T Fords and your ladies that walk around with their arms uncovered."
Yeah, that was fun. And Wolverine compliments Cyclops, which was weird.
Also, Kitty says, "We are not children, except most of us are."
Yeah. And then Angel, like, they hear an alarm go. Well, first, Cap, it's really fucked up. Cap is talking to Beast as they're leaving, and he's basically like, "You're gonna fix this, right?" And he's like, "Sure." And he's like, "Come on, seriously, you're gonna fix this? They're gonna go home? Whatever. Like, this isn't gonna damage the space-time continuum? I don't know. Can you promise to do at least your best?" I am.
He was just being a pain in the ass.
Like,
He was like, "Please tell me you have this under control." I don't have this under control.
I have no idea what's going
Can
on.
you at least keep me in the loop? There is no loop.
But where I was saying that that Kitty and Iceman are nailing what the actual conversation is because they say, "What should I do? What should I do?" Hank, so help me if you know where Scott Summers is and you're not telling us. And he's like, dear Captain, if I knew where Scott Summers was. And then it cuts to Captain America, and he's like, and if I find out that you know and you didn't tell me.
So, they hear the alarm going off, and Beast is like, that's coming from my lab. They go over, and they see that it's Angel, and he's desperately trying to get the time cube to work so he could go back to his own time. And they're like, Warren, you can't do this. We all agreed to stay here. And he's like, I didn't agree to shit. And I don't want to be here, and this doesn't make any sense, and me doesn't make any sense. Like, we don't belong. And then he suddenly shifts his entire demeanor to, like, why is everyone looking at me? Yeah. Anyone else hungry? Let's go get lunch. And they see that it's Gene, and Gene had just, like, completely altered his mind to get him to get under control.
She's got some funky old-style hair. You notice that?
Yeah.
She's from the 60s.
Yeah, but it was, like, extra in those two panels for some reason. And I like that they automatically assumed it was Quentin. It was like, somebody's breaking into the lab, and Storm's just like, Quentin Quire?
That's fair.
It is fair. And you gotta think, Angel's from the 60s, and he's fucking with this, like, super space-age computer. He has no idea what the hell he's doing in that thing.
He does just say, though, he was just pressing buttons. Yeah, because they're like, you don't know how to do that. And he's like, who cares? I'm going home.
I'm going home.
I know this is the thing that takes us home, so...
I just gotta press enough buttons and I'll be somewhere that's not here.
He's gonna turn himself into a frog or something crazy.
But he's still got the wings.
Yeah.
Alright, so that brings us into the next issue where they're doing a danger room simulation.
Yeah.
And the previous X-Men, or the original X-Men, their mind is just blown about how advanced the danger room has gotten. They're like, it was just like hoops and medicine balls and that little machine that you stand on and it shakes your ass for you. That's all we had. And now
Xavier had, like, his physical therapy stuff in the corner, too.
Like, the only one he let use that ass-shaking machine was Gene.
Yeah, so they're in the danger room, which you don't know it's the danger room right away because it looks like they're just in Times Square. Yeah. And so then Sentinels attack. And you realize by the demeanor, like, okay, this is definitely the danger room now. Right before the Sentinels attack, though, Jean is talking to Kitty. Kitty is sort of chastising her about what she did to Warren and how that ain't cool. And you can't just control people whenever you want to get something done. She's all like, yeah, well, it worked, though, right? And it was the right thing to do. He's like, it's never the right thing to do to just take control away from someone else. Like, that should have been...
the whole time during this conversation, she's like sneaking into Kitty's head and pulling out information. And Kitty's like, get the hell out of my head. I warned you enough times. Get out.
Yeah. And then, because at one point she asks, like, does anyone know what a Sentinel is? And she says it. And he's like, I just fucking said, get out of my head. Yeah. And you just did it. And she's like, oh, sorry, last time, I promised. And he's like, you liar.
Yeah,
You lying mind thief.
She gets worse at doing this.
Yeah. So the Sentinels attack, and it's a disaster for all of them. Scott's trying... Well, yeah, he's trying to form... Like, he's trying to get everyone to work as a team and attack... Well, to defend themselves against the Sentinels in a way that makes sense, while Beast kind of just makes Warren take him up to the biggest Sentinel. He's like, I can solve all this. Just send me up to the tallest one. And Iceman's just flailing around doing Iceman shit.
Yeah,
ignoring Scott.
He tries to tackle Kitty out of the way of a Sentinel attack, but she just phases through everything.
Yeah, including Bobby. Like, Iceman just goes right through her. And Jean's trying to help with her telekinesis, but no one's really following anything Scott's saying, even though he is saying it. And then Beast, even, when he gets dropped off on the largest Sentinel, like, Warren's like, all right, now what? And he's like, I don't know, look busy, get out of here. Like, I'm more important than you, I'm gonna solve all this. And then he's trying to take apart the Sentinel, only for himself to get electrocuted, and he falls off. Yeah. And so, right before everyone's about to get crushed and die and get, just lose horribly, Kitty shuts the program down. And she's like, so what'd you all do wrong? Because you did everything wrong. I mean, you don't say everything, because we know that. So specifically, what'd you do wrong?
And Beast is like, fuck off. We know what we did wrong. Like, you don't have to say it. We get it.
Yeah, which is like a weird... Beast is such a fucking bitch.
Yeah. And yeah, as all the original...
He probably did the worst thing.
Yeah. Besides stealing people's thoughts. But as they're all like walking out of the danger room, Jean looks inside Cyclops' head and she's like, "Who is Mystique?"
Oh yeah. Well, I was gonna break down what they did wrong, but yeah.
What did Beast do wrong though?
Well, he breathed air. Yeah, because
during the fight.
Well, he just decided to go off on his own on like he didn't really have a plan. He didn't know if what he was gonna do was gonna work, and then it didn't work.
Yeah, he doesn't understand Sentinels at all.
Yeah, or teamwork. He just decided, I'll figure this out because I'm the best at being me, and yeah.
Yeah, which isn't even true. There's another him.
Yeah,
it's better.
It's better, and it's still not great.
Yeah.
But yeah, she tells Bobby, like, you didn't even do your research. Like, you would have known that I phase through things, and that especially with electricity, I disrupt it. So I was never in any danger. You should have been saving anyone else, any civilians or your own teammates who were in jeopardy of getting hurt. And she's like, Scott, you were great in the field in a sense, but like your men weren't following you. He's like, are they my men? Because they weren't listening to me. And she's like, yeah, well, you were the one barking orders, right? Your guys, and they weren't listening. That's a problem. So that was a weird thing where it was like, what do you do in that situation? You're a leader, but no one will follow you, but you're telling them to follow you, and then the answer is, okay, well, you suck at being a leader because they're not following you, so get them to follow you. What? Also, we're telling Jean she's the leader. Right, every time we can.
That makes sense. It's like, oh,
every chance we get. Ostracizing Cyclops because all of them still are like bitter towards the older version of him.
Yeah,
like, you're great out there, except for the fact that everybody else has a listening problem.
Yeah, so that's somehow your fault.
Yeah,
because even he's like, well, they won't listen to me.
Everything you did was great except for that.
Yeah, you did great except for the things you did that other people did.
Yeah, and so Jean, like she was just told not to, goes inside Cyclops' mind and learns about his boner he just had.
He was like having sweaty thoughts. It was like right on the surface. Who's Mystique?
She is mad too when she realizes the name Mystique, and she has no reason to be mad. I mean, Kitty, sure, but Jean has no reason to be mad, but she seems mad.
She's jealous.
Yeah, I mean, you pushed a guy away from you when you got to the future, act like he was a monster, and then get upset that he had a conversation with somebody you don't know.
Well, and a boner, but yeah.
Did she read his boner?
Was she reading his mind? In his mind, there's a lot more than a conversation.
Maybe she just got the message confused of his measurement chart in Mystique.
He was really into the idea of a shapeshifter.
There's also like dangerous territory of her misreading stuff and being like, "Are you into Wolverine?" Because since right around the same time you saw him, you got a boner.
She hears Wolverine call him darling in his head. So they start chasing Scott because they want to know like why he knows Mystique, and he doesn't want to answer them because he just wants to be left alone. And
he ran out.
Yeah, he does.
Covered his crotch.
Turns out he doesn't appreciate when people poke around in his head.
Mm-hmm.
Kitty doesn't like it when it happens to her, but she didn't care if it happens to Cyclops.
Yeah, no, that's
and speaking of Mystique, the story jumps over to Maria Hill landing at the raft with Sabretooth and adamantium shackles, being like, look, we just picked up Sabretooth and we got to drop him off in one of these cells. What's
fucked up is 2 out of the 3 things you said are not true.
Yeah. I was just going to say that. So, because all the soldiers, well, sort of soldiers, right? Like, they're
SHIELD
police, agent, SHIELD. Oh, yeah, SHIELD. They're like, well, we didn't get word that you were coming. He's like, yeah, it was last minute. We just picked him up. This is the closest place. So, take me to the prison rooms, please. And so they're taking her. It's like, oh, by the way, not adamantium shackles. And Sabretooth just starts ripping them apart. And also,
do we even make those?
Yeah. Also, I'm not Maria Hill, and it's Mystique, and she
but
lets
we
out.
Did land here. That part was true.
Yeah, that was the true part. They landed on the raft.
They're breaking out Lady Mastermind, or Mastermind.
Yes. So they break her out, and she's like, hey, so I decided, fuck mutants and all that stuff. Xavier's dead. His dream's dead. Although, she was never a part of his dream.
Yeah, but she's like, we were friends. We're
Just
cool.
lying.
But
You
barely.
yeah, but she's like, you saw the movies, right?
Right?
I do not like Lady Mastermind's uniform because it always reminds me of Emma,
Yeah.
the Marvel Now uniform.
Yeah, I could see that. Like the Black Queen.
Also
Yeah.
blonde hair.
Black with the titties
White.
out.
That's
and the blonde
just
hair.
you. That is just you who can't tell blonde white women apart.
Hey, man. In comics, though, that's everybody. Because if they put Emma Frost's name over her, you would be like,
It's
oh,
Emma
Emma
Frost.
has a new suit.
Yep.
So,
Fair.
Because nobody's ever drawn with distinctive features.
yeah, not really. I mean, unless it's an artist with a very consistent style, and even then, it's only in their book.
Yeah, only in their book. Then when somebody else takes it over, they're drawn different.
Yeah.
I mean, House of M, the only difference between Matt Murdock and Scott Summers is the colored glasses. Or actually,
not even the color
It's
glasses.
the color
color
hair.
shirt
The
and
color
hair. Yeah,
is a little bit different.
yeah.
It's brown and red.
Well, Matt Murdock, Scott Summers, and Wonder Man.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
all
Wonder Man
red
looks
glasses, all had the exact same build, same face structure.
No, Wonder Man's jacked.
They were all jacked in House of M.
Oh yeah. That's true.
Yeah, they all the exact. It's like when you're
Daredevil,
playing a
huh?
game. Yeah, it's like when you're playing a game and they only have one of 3 body molds for the characters when you're making a character.
Oh, like the X-Men.
Yeah, like the X-Men game.
It's like, who do you want to be? Skinny, fat, or jacked?
So at this point, after the whole Raph situation,
Well, first she's like, so the dream's dead. What do you say we just get really rich and buy an island and hang out? And she's like, all right, that sounds better than being in prison.
Have some orgies on an island. Let's do it.
Little do they know Hickman.
They weren't invited.
So she's like, can you take care of these guys? He's like, yeah, I could take care of them. I could do like scary. And she makes Marvel zombies attack the rest of the SHIELD agents. And they run away.
yeah. Ooh.
But she's like, I can do scary, and then she reenacts the Hercules and Wolverine scene.
Then next she's like, I can do sad. She just shows them all the scene from The Lion King, with Mufasa's death scene. They're all just crying. But yeah, it goes from that to Warren is confronting Beast. It's like, hey man,
You suck. You
Yeah.
lie.
you're a fucking lying piece of shit.
Where's the genocide?
Yeah, which I'm happy they said that because it's like bringing you here to stop genocide.
Yeah.
What genocide?
Yeah, because that happens in the danger room with Kitty, actually, where I think Angel says, like, where's this genocide? And she's like, genocide? And I think one of the other ones tell Kitty, yeah, Beast came and said there was going to be a genocide. And then Scott's like, those exact words.
Yeah.
And Kitty was kind of taken aback that Beast had said that.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
genocide.
Because it's a fucking lie.
Yeah. So it shows right there, like, it's already not a foregone conclusion that they're all in agreement to how severe the situation is. And that Beast was taking it to a whole nother level. And his response to Warren is like, well, I mean, I brought you to stop genocide, so since there's no genocide, it worked, and I'm a genius.
I love your Beast voice. Yeah.
Actually?
Yeah, because
supposed to be stopping. I turned it to Kermit.
he was saying it.
We're supposed to be stopping for a genocide.
Hey, that's not this podcast.
Yeah, 'cause he was saying it wasn't happening yet, but it was gonna happen. I brought you here to prevent it. It looks like I did.
He's like, I don't see any genocide. You're welcome.
Yeah, he's like, where's this genocide piece? Like, exactly.
And then he's all like, there is no genocide. Oh my stars and garters.
And
Because
Flash cut
Cyclops
to-
shows up.
yeah, with the mastermind. Because
Emma, like, same outfit, yeah.
That Emma's wearing.
Yeah. The mastermind.
He's got shoulder pads. That's the only difference.
You know what's great, by the way, is that Storm gets a complete makeover between issues 8 and 10.
Was she in 9?
You don't see her, but she is,
That's
sort
when
of.
she was getting them.
Yeah. So
Like, because 9 and 10 are like the same day. And 8 was
Yeah.
Are you a fucking dog?
what? No,
That was me.
I just got thrown off. He pointed out the window,
There was
and
a
I was
cat.
like, "What?" And there's a cat. So he's just pointing at a
It's
cat.
very important, everybody. It was a cat.
So all right, so
We'll fix this in post.
why'd you blame me?
Because I didn't see him. I just saw you mid sentence go.
I didn't think it was going to be so derailed. I thought it was going to be like a quick glance. And we got Mystique walking around out there.
So anyway, Storm goes in a day, right? Because she's in her she has long hair in the black like one piece with the cape when Jean stops Warren from leaving, and then the next day she's getting chastised for stopping Warren like that, and then Warren goes off to confront Beast, and then Scott arrives, and then it's like they're in the living room, sort of, right? Or some room that looks like a living room, because it's a
foyer.
mansion. There's so many.
In a mansion.
And they show Storm, and she's in the completely different suit. She's got the mohawk now, and like the weird X on her chest area.
That might have happened in X-Men. The all-female book was going on right now, and she was in it.
Yeah.
Also,
that's
quick-
what I'm saying. Like, it's crazy. Like, it changed like that, like instantly.
Yeah. Also, quick side note: Mystique's using her old group that she just got to illusion bank heists, basically steal money.
She's using the X-Men, you're saying?
The illusion of the X-Men to steal money from
Well, that's not
banks.
even a side note. That's like how 10 starts.
Yeah. But we didn't do that part. So.
Well, because we just are getting into 10.
Well, then the Thing.
Yeah. So it starts. Yeah.
It's not. It's at this point. It's not a very important storyline.
Well, sort of. Like,
It's like a C plot.
it's there's an armored truck that's gonna leave, and they're like, how much money we're hauling? It's like 18 million. He's like, 18 million? I haven't hauled this much. This security guard speaking to another one, and the other security guard is like, okay, 2 million, 18 million doesn't matter. We're getting paid the same. We're just driving the truck, and then they get attacked by the X-Men and Wolverine, like the younger X-Men, and they're like, oh no, mutants, and they get robbed for all $18 million.
Which is weird
All
that they
of it.
use the X-Men because it doesn't get referenced. They're just like mutants.
Yeah, because they don't care. They don't see them as a group. They see them all as one thing, mutants.
Yeah, but that also means they could have just not did the illusions.
Yeah, so that's why it was weird.
Well, I guess it makes it obvious, right? Because if it's just powered people, like they could be thinking, it could be anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Because people are getting powers from all sorts of things, but the X-Men are exclusively mutants. And it's
Yeah,
also
blue,
like
blue.
defaming the original X-Men plus Wolverine, who's like their poster boy, because he's the Avenger X-Men.
Yeah, he's got a card and everything.
Yeah.
Laminated.
Actually, Mystique has that card.
Oh, yeah.
What if that's not even a real thing?
Is
She
that
just
like
made it up?
Is that like a part of her body that she mutated, or did she get that made?
No, it's got to definitely be a part of her body. I think all her clothes are a part of her body.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That like you can use like can she transform a jacket as a part of her and then take the jacket off? And then when she
was holding it.
shapeshifts, does it just change?
It's just skin, just hanging on a chair.
Like I have so many questions about Mystique.
I was literally thinking of all those same things. Like, how do the boots work? Are the boots her feet? Are her feet boots? When she tells Scott, like, this is my true form, when he's like, well, who are you now? When she changes into her regular form, and she's like, this is me. And I was like, wait, so what if she means literally? Like, those boots are her feet. Like, her feet are boots. Like, she doesn't have a heel and toes and stuff. Like, it's just
boots.
Yeah. She's born with boots.
She is just the boots. The rest is like a dummy that she puts inside of them.
So yeah, Scott extends an offer to the students, older Scott, because he shows up and he's like, "Hey, so I got a school.
Yeah. Literally, come with me if you want to live.
Yeah, but learn
Yeah.
and live
Revolution.
and fight back. I mean, there might be a bit of that. Which it
I love that every time though that Scott goes to do something, Magneto was like behind him, sounding like a villain as he's being reasonable. He's just like, and like he's doing the same thing in X-Men right now with Charles Xavier, where they'll be like,
Oh, constantly.
yeah, we're like, we just want to teach everybody. We tried to do it like one way and it wasn't working out. And Magneto's like, and we will take our birthright as who sits on the king throne. And they're like, bro, chill. Like, it was going good and you're freaking out.
It's like that Fantastic Four X-Men where Xavier's just like, look, we've just become more pragmatic to the way things have to be. And Magneto's like, because we are your betters.
Yeah. We're better than you, and we have superpowers too. I'm still better than you.
He's doing ad-libs.
Yeah, and so...
Can you do this? And he's got those little balls that clank back and forth. Ooh.
Now he's ball fondling over there.
Yeah.
So Scott's like, you know, if you guys want to learn to defend yourselves, this is, you know, we're accepting people. And he even tells like kids, like, you do good work. Like, fucking...
He says they're accepting applications, so I feel like once I got back, they had to write down like,
It's a
social
whole
security
process.
number,
Like,
sex.
so
Drug test.
oddly formal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Krakoa shows up and eats them and spits them out
Which
after...
is weird that Krakoa, like, who was telling Krakoa, like, if he shows up, eat him?
Also, that part's
Probably Wolverine.
that part's not at all in the uncanny part.
Yeah.
Well, you see Krakoa as a head. It's up there. Like, they just sort of gloss over that.
Yeah.
Because all this stuff that's happening is sort of happening in a background because in the uncanny part, it's all about Emma's conversation with the Cuckoos.
Yeah. I feel like Choir put in an application.
And got denied?
And they denied it.
Well, because it was like the Cuckoos were like, look, it's us or him.
Yeah, well, because the Cuckoos left, and he's like, oh, they're going. And he put his application in.
I will go find out what they're doing.
Yeah, so...
You know he fucking talks like that, dude.
Probably.
So Scott's like, all right, look, we're gonna go, but like, figure it out. Talk amongst yourselves. Who wants to come with us? And then I think what was it, Beast was kind of being an asshole.
No. No.
And actually the other, like, people were starting to question Beast, like, right at him too. And like about the whole like bringing us from the past and all that. Well, bringing us, them in their sense.
Yeah.
The younger X-Men were like, you brought us from the past for no reason. And they're talking about like, in this whole Phoenix Force thing, like they got forced into them, because that's what Scott was talking about, is like, if you guys really think, because he goes on for kind of a monologue where he's like, if you really think I meant to kill Xavier, then kill me. Because I can't stand you guys thinking that about me. Like, I wasn't in control of myself, but whatever. Like, we're being attacked out there, and someone has to do something about it. And if you want to be part of that, you could be part of that.
And Wolverine is upset.
Yeah, he's pretty mad. He's got so many weird faces in these parts. Like, he looks like a little, like, troll thing. He's, like, outraged every panel.
Also, Glob is wearing a tuxedo. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but I just saw that, and it's great.
It's like they have school uniforms on because they're all
Yeah.
in some suits.
They were cosplaying fucking Men in Black.
And was Magneto says something to Beast where he's like, "You're way off base" or something like that, and
Which, that's a baseball reference, and they don't even get to finish those games.
oh no, I'm thinking ahead to the next issue actually, because there's Bendis takes this moment and stretches it between two issues.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Uncanny, it's like half an issue.
Yeah, so Scott extends that invitation and leaves, and then everyone's like, "Hey, so what's this Phoenix stuff about that you guys weren't telling us? Like, Tony Stark put the Phoenix inside of inside of Cyclops and them, and you're not even like gonna bring that up to us, that it was broken and it caused us to do stuff." And he's like, "Hey, he did this stuff, like he reveled in the power, and you know he wanted to do all those things."
Which was he wanted to plant crops.
Yeah, like that's the thing he wanted to do. Like,
Scott is like, bullshit.
hey man, we read the books. Like, we saw the digression of control.
that why there's so much goddamn food here?
Yeah, that was some bullshit because they were acting like he was so power hungry and using it for like bad purposes. Like, no, he kind of just wanted to be left alone to help the world. And
Because even while it was happening, they kept blaming Scott for things that the other Phoenixes were doing.
He literally had 3 goals during Avengers vs. X-Men. He wanted to end world hunger, have world peace, and unlimited power for everybody.
yeah.
And they had a problem with that.
Yeah. And then Maria Hill chimes in as they're questioning Beast, and she's all like, "Hey, so you guys are mutants, and we're looking for a mutant who's kind of an asshole."
Yeah, you all know each other, right? You're all related.
Yeah. Oh, because the thing happens that the Raft calls Maria Hill in, and then they like tackle her. They're like, you Mystique? She's like,
here.
I'm not Mystique.
Fuck her
What the
up."
fuck are you talking about? And like, oh, well, Mystique came. She showed up with Sabretooth, and they took a prisoner.
And they still sounded suspicious. Like, looking like you. Just like you.
Just like you.
She's like, "Are you profiling me?" And like, that's what you always do is you profile people.
It's their whole job.
You have profiles.
Not amateur files, of course.
Those
So
are professional goddamn files.
So, she's like, so Mystique's a mutant. She's not on staff with you guys or anything. And like, no. It's like, are you sure? She could be. She could turn into any one of you and be a teacher and do nice things. Which doesn't sound like her at all. And they're like,
Yeah, you have a history of rehabilitating villains and making them into teachers.
And it's like anyone like been in communication with her or whatever. And I think it's Gene, right? Who's like, well, actually, and he's referring to Scott having spoke to her. But then it pans to Scott, and Scott's actually on his way out to see himself because
That's not a metaphor.
himself shows up with his group of cooler X-Men, and
He's like, "God, you guys are cool."
and he's like, hey man, not cool, this stuff you're doing. I don't approve, and I'm your younger self, so you should listen to me when I say bad.
Which Beast's whole logic around this is completely flawed. Because would you listen to a 10-year younger version of you?
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah,
Like,
you'd
hey,
be like, "You're a fucking idiot. I know for a fact I'm 10 years smarter than you."
like I've done more things and I've gone through more things, and also I knew what I was doing when I was your age, and I don't approve.
Yeah, exactly. When I was 16, was I really making the wisest decisions?
I keep my porn in safety deposit boxes now. I know where you keep yours.
Also, with all of my money instead of banking, I keep it at a bank, but in a box instead of in the account.
I don't believe in interest. That's how they get you.
Yeah, fuck high interest yields.
They're just gonna lose the money in some scheme.
I want my
invest
cash
it properly.
uninsured.
So Scott's like, all right. He kind of just ignores himself, and he's like, so who is gonna join me here? And the Cuckoos step up. They're like, we're down.
Yo,
And the other ones were just because they were talking before Scott got back. Like, who do you think's gonna leave? And they were like, oh, the Cuckoos for sure. Maybe Quentin.
Nobody likes the Cuckoos.
Yeah, they're
It's
like,
thank
good.
God.
Get those demonic triplets out of here. Fucking creepy.
because they end the issue on, so you don't see the person, but they're like, "Who will join the X-Men?" Because somebody's like, "Oh, I'll join you."
Yeah.
And they literally show everybody except Angel, but they're like, "Who is it? Who could it be?
Yeah.
Is it the guy we didn't show? Find out next week on Dragon Ball Z."
Yeah, and that's how the issue 11 starts. Is everyone like, no, you can't, and like Scott's like, I order you, you can't. I'm as your leader.
I thought he wasn't the leader. That was a
Right.
big load of shit. Everyone's just yelling at Angel. Like,
Yeah, basically everyone trying to stop him from going, and
trying to
he's
tell him
like,
what to do, and they're acting like it's a big deal.
he's like, look, you guys aren't giving me any choice. I don't even want to be here. You're not letting me be here. You've mind controlled me to stop me from leaving when I wanted to leave. Like, no, between your guys' bullshit and their bullshit, theirs sounds better.
They're literally trying to control him. They're like, no, you can't go back home, and you also have to stay here.
Yeah.
If like I didn't want to go camping, but like all my friends made me go camping, and the whole fucking time they just ignored me, I would be so fucking angry, let alone in a different fucking time. Like, how can they expect him not to be pissed off? I would leave.
And and that's one of the things Scott was telling himself too, is like, we're not leaving, because when he sees his younger self, he's like, you're still here? You should have gone home. You guys need to go. And he's like, we're not leaving, because we see that, you know, what we've been fighting for doesn't happen, and we're going to fix that, and we're going to do it here and now. We all agreed. We voted on it. And then in this moment, Angel's like, the fuck we did? We didn't agree. And Jean tries to stop him at one point. And
half the book.
Well, yeah, but I mean at the first point, she tries to stop him, and he's like, first of all, I didn't vote to stay here. Like, I didn't agree to vote. And secondly, even if I did agree to vote, I didn't vote for it. You still made me. So I'm going to go do what I want to do, and that's go with Magneto and these guys.
Well, I think
with
they're
the cooler outfits.
The exact way that they said it was like, we all agreed to stay here. And he's like, I didn't agree to stay here. And then even if I agreed to stay here, I'm not agreeing anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't fucking want to do it.
Which makes sense. He's like, this is what I want to do. Like, why can't he choose what he wants to do? And Jean treats him like a little baby.
Yeah.
Get back in the house, Warren.
And then she starts to lose it because she's like reading everyone's thoughts again. She does like a psychic burst, because at one point they're actually all literally surrounding Warren, like stopping him from going.
Yet they're grabbing him and pulling on him.
Yeah. And she blows like everyone away.
Thank you for... You said that sentence really slow. Yeah.
Because, not gonna lie, I kind of burped a little bit. Like, so there's like a space in between the blows and away. So she blows everyone away. And then Logan loses it too. Like, he pops his claws, and this was kind of great because, like, Bobby sees it, the older one, and he's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, put your claws away.
But I love Magneto's like, you fucking idiot. You
like,
know my thing is to make you useless.
Yeah.
That is what my power does.
And yeah, so Jean she grabs Warren. She's like, go back in the house, Warren. And so he starts going, and they're like, you can't just control him again. Like, what are you doing? You can't keep doing this. So there's tension between Wolverine's X-Men side with how everything's falling out. And then Emma has the Cuckoos go into Jean's mind and sort of shut her down psychically. And then everyone's freaking out, like, stop them, they're hurting her. And she's like, fucking, she needs this. She needs to know what it's like when you force your way into another person's mind when you don't want them to. And she's also being a bit, sadistic because
they're like,
she has a hate boner
Jean
for
Grey.
Jean. Yeah.
Which I liked it, though, because she has been being fucked up, Jean.
Yeah.
She's just been going in people's mind. And
She needed this.
Yeah, she's been on a pedestal.
she's been, just violating people's rights, and now she's getting mentally spanked, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even though they, like, voted to stay there, really she's the only one who, like, was, like, worse doing this. We're staying here. Everybody else was kind of like, I guess. They're more apprehensive about it.
She's the one chick, so they're all just like, yeah, sure.
And Bobby's like, why did she have to be the future?
So, after that happens, and they all get ready to leave, Magneto says something about how, he's disappointed and that Beast brought all this on them all. And then Scott agrees, like, you really did bring it on yourself. And
yeah. And he's being, like, pretty relaxed about everything. And then just at that moment, he's like, yeah, it's really you, man.
Yeah. And then after they leave, well, it jumps again, actually, to Mystique, but it's Pepper Potts, but obviously it's Mystique, because they're like, $18 million in this heist is cool, but, like, we need more money.
Yeah.
So they're looking for bigger targets. And so she just walks up to this guy as Pepper Potts, like, hey, guy who controls all the main accounts for Tony Stark, I just talked to Tony Stark, and he wants you to give me access to those accounts. And he's like, you talk to Tony Stark? He's in deep space. And she's like, we have our ways. So, yep. So I'm going to need you to open the server and log in and then leave the room. And he's like, that doesn't sound right. He's like, okay. She's like,
okay.
but do it. And he's like, well, what if I just go in the corner with my iPad? And she's like, no, I need you to leave the room. And so he opens the server and logs in, and then suddenly, like, explosion. She's like, oh, no.
You should leave the room.
You should leave the room. We're under attack. It's the X-Men. And he's like, oh, no, I'll do emergency procedures.
I pictured her trying to sell it by humming the... She's like... oh, no, we should go.
Which is crazy when you think about it, that because there's other rich people that she could have robbed.
Yeah,
Tony
but,
Stark,
in that sense,
Really?
fuck Stark in that sense.
Yeah, the guy who got him in this mess.
Yeah, but I mean, the guy who can also probably stop you.
But he's in deep space.
Yeah, but it's like, who's more likely to get that money back or to find out?
His computer's made of nanites.
It's Tony Stark. Just rob a normal billionaire. Why does it have to be Tony Stark?
Yeah, I mean, name recognition for the book.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
like right away,
that's
what
why,
I'm talking
but
about.
dumb on her part.
Yeah. And then, so Kitty is back at the mansion. She's all like, hey, Jean, I see you're sad. Because Jean's like by herself on the basketball court. And she's like, no one would play a pickup game. Yeah, people are skittish about that. We never get to finish anything around here, so they just don't even start anymore.
I still want you as a fan, but Stan, why are you so mad?
So she's like, look, what you've been doing, it's not acceptable going inside of people's brains, but I know you mean well, and so promise to never do that because I'm actually really close to secretly sending you back to your own time against your will.
She's
so,
like, I'm done with you if you don't listen to me.
So
this time."
real, like, stern about there are consequences if you fuck up again, and because people are scared of you.
Yeah.
Your own team is scared of you, and they need to trust you.
She's metaphorically giving her a hug with the gun in one hand, just aimed at the back of her head.
Yeah, kind of.
Comforting, yet strong.
Yeah.
It's like, this is why no one will play basketball with you. You're scaring them, Gene.
That and the Sentinels.
And also our Blackbird comes out from under this, so we don't
Yeah.
actually play basketball on this court.
And we're actually about to leave in just a second, so you're gonna have to move
Get off the court.
because next they actually are in the Blackbird, flying. I'm not sure where they're actually going to. They're just like flying.
It's like when you're playing hockey in the street and you got to move the nets every time a car drives by.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's got to get off the court for the Blackbird to leave.
But they're in the Blackbird, and suddenly they're having issues going on with it, and it's because Thor is forcing the Blackbird down, and it is Havoc and the Uncanny Avengers.
Yep. Which we will not be covering next week.
I feel like something just penetrated Bobby. He's like, what was that? I'll do the talking. And Bobby's like, my butt!
Why am I excited?
I just like when Marvel does that though, when they're like, they'll have a little caption and then instead of like just saying the thing, they just put the title. So it reads in my head as like, your brother and his Uncanny Avengers.
It's like the Super Smash voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Captain America looks so mad, but obviously it's because of the attacks from. This is when the Mystique stuff
This is when it comes
catches
forward.
up with him. Yeah.
His chin is so much smaller than, like, it doesn't match the rest of his face.
Oh yeah.
It's funny because he says, come out with your hands up, like they're criminals, but then he's like, you're in a lot of trouble, like they're going to get grounded.
Yeah.
We found the nudie mags under your bed.
Come out with your hands up.
We found the pictures of Emma.
Nice. We know about Rogue shaving her legs.
Wolverine, you're finally under arrest.
As a reference towards X-Men Evolution. But yeah, that was all new X-Men issues 6 through 11.
Yeah. Because arcs don't make sense in Bendis' run.
Yeah.
Numerically. It's great writing. He does dialogue so great.
Yeah,
I don't, because that was terrible just then. But Bendis does dialogue very amazingly.
He does he makes them speak words real well. But yeah, we go like our Facebook page.
Yeah, we got that.
Yeah, and our Twitter.
We got that.
And our Instagram. We got 4 new Twitter followers this week.
Nice.
We're at 11.
Big time now.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do
Insane.
with this fame.
I know.
I should probably follow us.
Yeah, you should.
I should too.
Be the example you want to see in the world.
Yeah.
You know.
Be the change you want to see.
So all of those are at Mex-Men Podcast. You can find the links in the show notes. Also, we have shirts and other assorted items that have our logo on it.
Yeah, go to TeePublic and then buy the stuff because we get some money from that,
Yeah.
and we'd like some money and even more after.
I'm unemployed.
Oh, that's a thing that happened recently.
Yeah. So yeah, also link in the show notes. But yeah, also if you could just share, if you enjoy the podcast, if you could just share it on your platforms or at least leave a rate and review on iTunes, that would really help us out a lot.
Or if
Yeah.
you just wanted to send money.
That works.
955 Scott Lake Road, Waterford, Michigan. Suite 105.
Don't come here to kill us.
Yeah, don't come here.
Yeah,
to
no,
send stuff here.
it's all windows here. We'd see you coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, you could probably perch somewhere and shoot us very easily.
Why are you making that a thing?
You just told them it's all windows.
Oh, God.
Yeah, now you gave me an idea.
Yeah, so...
But they probably weren't thinking of shooting.
Shitting?
Shooting.
You said shitting.
Shooting.
So, I think what we're trying to say is that's for today.
That's definitely what we were trying to say.